for us to really be a nation and to really execute in our best human abilities. Rejuvenate yourself, you can operate and you're more efficient and more effective. That's just the way it is. So what we do is specialize in intercellular cleansing and nourish, cleanse. Hopefully we'll have a website coming up and other information. We like to do, matter of fact, there's a full moon drumming session coming up. All right, Raquel. And we are, we participate in the full moon. Our ancestors have noted that the full moons and the solstices and equinox are the gates of the year, gates of the month and the gates of the year. And so we try to follow the ancestors. They have so much information. They're so wise, So the 5th of is inviting those to come from 7 to 11 at the Clock Tower at Bodo Park in Frederiksted. So
we have a couple spaces for anyone who would love to advertise with us.
Yes.
2 spots actually, and it's as low as $2.50 or even $5 a month, or for a full page that could be $5 or $10. Yes. So please contact us at 1-857-240-2854 or email us, text us at umojacaribbeanunion@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yes. So I want to thank our advertisers, our sponsors, and the views and commentaries that we are expressing right here, right now, doesn't necessarily is associated with any of our sponsors. Just want to put out that disclaimer.
Yes.
But we do thank them for supporting us.
Yes.
And thank you for supporting us by viewing. Again, we are on YouTube. What is that? Oh, YouTube. Our YouTube channel. Please subscribe at UCU Umoja Caribbean Union. Mm-hmm. And we are on Facebook at Umoja Caribbean Union Inc. Go to our departments page and go to file, download your free copies of the newspapers. So we have several newspapers that has been posted there, I think over a year now. So feel free to go and download your free copy. And donations are accepted and appreciated.
Yes. The value that you're getting with this download newspaper, you'd be surprised at some of the back issues, and this issue this month, very excellent. And matter of fact, we're right here at the inside the paper with the page of the history that UCU Africa House Club, Uta Reed, has put together for us, for the community actually, and for everyone distributing it. And each day there's a personage for our liberation and for the world's humanity in a certain kind of way. Today is the 30th, isn't it?
Yes. Tomorrow is the 31st. Yes.
Tomorrow is her birthday, actually.
Yes, and she's noted right here, the 31st. Uta Yolanda Andrews Reed, born in 1944. An educator. Yes, she's still here amongst us, and she is doing that great work with UCU Africa House Club. So definitely many blessings, good health and strength to Mama Uta for the work that she has done.
Yes, continuous for many, many years, So she's an extraordinary educator, extraordinary, But look, we have on the 28th, Betty Shabazz, 28th of May, right? That was a couple of days ago. Thursday.
Can I insert something?
Sure.
And the 27th was Olu's Earth Strong, so just going to give him a live, shout out. Although he got his shout out on the 27th, but thank you for the service that you have done and continue to do for the community and in expressing, using your abilities, your healing abilities to help those who are in need, improving their health.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Shalima, for that. We know that each cycle that we enter into our Earth Strong, that year that culminates, that is a new beginning, a new cycle starts, and certainly I have some things to share in this new cycle because each one is important. On the 28th, Betty Shabazz, born 1940 to 1997, the widow of Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik Shabazz, better known as Malcolm X, and a very dynamic woman. It really takes for a couple. It's really not, when a man and a woman and a person is like Malcolm X, Malcolm Shabazz. Energy is so powerful. It's family, and the kind of work that he was really doing, the kind of service that he really gave, was certainly beneficial to many families throughout the world. Malcolm is still honored, in his, continuously, and will be for as long as our struggle is needed to be liberated. Definitely he will be acknowledged. Then also Cyril Briggs. Let's see this closely. Cyril Briggs, 1888 to 1966, born in Nevis, activist and a black nationality, sovereignty, man, about sovereignty. And certainly Nevis is a very special place, Nevis and St. Kitts, they're special places and have a powerful people there. Edward Seaga, right, was also born 1930, former Prime Minister of Jamaica. He was born on the 28th also. On the 29th, we have Aaron McFarlane. Oh, is that McFarlane? No, Magruder. Yes, Aaron Magruder, born 1974. A writer, an activist, cartoonist, creator of...
What is that? The Boondocks cartoon. Is it Boondocks cartoon characters? Interesting.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that.
I'm not either. But certainly Uta is, and she has it on in the May calendar. There's a number of, every month there's so many of our activists and educators and revolutionary writers and poets, musicians.
And then on the 31st, Oklahoma, what happened on that day? Tulsa,
Oklahoma.
Race riots by whites in 1921.
Black Wall Street was bombed. They actually bombed and set a fire to the Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. More oppressive tactics that were used by racists and oppressionists, in the United States, in the Caribbean also. The Western Hemisphere is full of mistreatment of people and inhumane treatment of people, and certainly the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing was where many melanated people were killed and disrupted the economics of that particular community for us, certainly. This newspaper is full of things. We have community announcements, right? And one of the main highlights of this paper, and of many papers since the last, three papers since it's been out, is the Crucian Dialogues by Mario C. Moorhead, one of our icons, one of the masters in terms of education and awareness, enlightenment. You know, he's been on the radio for many years, and he's helped so many people grasp an understanding of self and of culture.
And just saying that recently we did an interview with Mario, so that video is on our YouTube channel, so check it out again, or it's even posted on our Facebook page, so you can see what we're talking about. Definitely. Yeah,
very powerful interview, and some history, some great history there. So look, get this book. This book is his latest book. It's 791 pages. There's 4 books involved in it, and it goes through a number of situational things and consciousness raising, and the difference between higher consciousness and lower consciousness is very evident in the book, right?
And solutions are offered in there too. Absolutely. So it's not just highlighting the issues, but he has presented some solutions in there too.
Absolutely.
So they could get it on Amazon, right, or
340-277-7485. That's 340-277-7485. Get your local copy of the Crucian Dialogues, written by Mario C. Moorhead. Yes, pick that up today.
And as we're speaking about Mario, him and along with others have been pushing to have VI and Caribbean history taught in our schools, K to 12. And the effort that is being done right now is this issue is in court, and funds are needed to secure legal counsel in this issue. So we are definitely in need. Those who support this are in need for funds. So we're asking everyone who's hearing my voice, our voice right now, please support this cause, because this oppressive, I'm calling it oppressive.
It is. And illegal.
Situation that we are in, because those who don't want to uplift us is trying to defeat us. But we are strong, especially when we come together.
That's right.
Please write your check or money order to Mario Moorhead, and write in the memo Act 4844. Mail it to P.O. Box 187, Frederiksted, Virgin Islands 00841. Or I'm going to add the number that was presented, which is 340-277-7485. Okay? So please, let's not just stay on the side looking in and being unaware of what's going on. This is something is important. So please be involved and support this important cause.
It's so important, because if our children don't know where they've come from and what their culture is about, then there's no way that we can keep the community together. It's very, very important. More important than we really know. Like that. So, just like Shalene was just saying, listen, call the number, write the check, money order, postal money order, whatever it is, and do your due diligence to support the community effort into recognizing that the awareness of our children is not being taught. It's illegally in 1983, I think it was 84, right? This legislation was passed by Bert Bryan, and they haven't implemented it yet. So we're going to court for that. So this is the point, that it's very, very, very important now, especially now that we have these pandemics and all these different upheavals in the community. Also,
we have VI, Partners for Healthy Communities, LTRG St. Croix. And if you are still recovering from Hurricane Maria and need help with restoring your home here on St. Croix, please contact 340-713-8083. Again, 340-713-8083, and see how Virgin Islands Partners for Healthy Communities, LTRG St. Croix, could assist you.
Yes, very good. Very good. Also, we have Afrofusion Sweat Session on Facebook, right? Create your own reality dance project. Yeah, it's a virtual dance project right now. I think, I don't know well, check on Facebook and get the information. I think you're going to be able to be aware of what the next steps are. But it's, without sweating, right, without exercise, you're not really in good health, really, Perspiring is one of the healthiest things you can do, and cleansing the pores and bringing toxins out. Not only do toxins come out through urine and bowel movements and through your other pores, but through perspiration. It's very important to be healthy. And with that, what else we have here? We have...
Well, let's just share a little community announcement. Just recently, I was able to speak at a virtual conference, sponsored by GPAN, Global Pan-Africanism. Yeah, so it was a variation of speakers throughout the world.
That was for what occasion?
For the 25th.
The African
Liberation Day.
Yes.
So,
all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world. Yeah. And it was a good experience to see others throughout the world speaking, sharing concerns and solutions. So, we as African people throughout the world, no longer should we remain in a victimized state of mind. We are great, and it was definitely expressed on that conference that we have the ability to create and do greater things than we ever thought that we could do. So, just want to thank the hosts and sponsors for allowing the conference to take place on African Liberation Day, the 25th, and they also extended it on the 26th also. So you can check our page on Facebook, Umoja Caribbean Union, and just replay, and you'll see who the speakers were.
Yes, very dynamic, African liberation has been going on for thousands of years, actually. And now that it's more organized, more concretized into a functioning, organized celebration. And it's a celebration because certainly we're in the right direction. The unity of Africa, the unity of the Caribbean, the unity of melanated people all over the world is liberation, and so African liberation is so important because it means that humanity is being liberated a certain kind of way, because I've traveled through the world, to some countries in the world, and I see that we have an opportunity to really impact humanity, because the way the Western, so-called Western civilization, quote unquote, has been relating to us as melanated people, has dominated the world, all over the world, except when you get to countries that are predominantly dominated by local people, and then it changes. So. There's a basic principle. We were going over this the last couple of weeks, actually. The basic principles of change. Change does not happen because it's like it doesn't happen in an immediacy. It doesn't happen in an immediate event. It's something that it's a process. And certainly in that process, we develop ourselves. There's discipline there. There is patience there. There is, a number of virtues of breathing. There's a number of things that are actually there that brings balance, to the body, emotionally, physically, and mentally, and it's all for the spiritual body, to build the spiritual body. And one of the things that I have been privileged by my spiritual teachers and by some experience, I'd like to share with you a little something that I got from our ancient ancestors, proverbial wisdom from the
Aztecs?
Not from the Aztecs. It was from the Asiatics. Yes, the Asiatics, the melanated Asiatics that we know of as the Orient. But there are. Let me read them to you. To overcome pride, one must be humble. To overcome hate, one must be loving. And we can talk about that. To overcome selfishness, one must be generous. To overcome excitement, one must breathe and be calm. To overcome ignorance, one must use knowledge. To overcome evil, just be good. To overcome restlessness, meditate. And meditation can overcome a number of things, not only restlessness, but certainly it tunes the body to the discipline of breathing, the discipline of focus, and that helps the metabolism of the body. And systems of the body. Everything in synchronicity. It's so beautiful. We have such beautiful, magnificent bodies. And so, finding peace in meditation, you shall find all things that you crave or that you are attracted to. So meditation is a key element. Again, to overcome pride, be humble. To overcome hate, be loving. To overcome selfishness, be generous. To overcome excitement, be calm. To overcome ignorance, use knowledge. To overcome evil, just be good. To overcome restlessness, meditate. And those are some helpful hints that can keep one persevering in the right direction. Because certainly we need to be moving in the right direction. For so long we've been moving in confusion, in circles back and forth. But now it's getting more clear. Certainly for I, that there is a right direction to move. And when you meditate, meditating is listening, praying is asking for something. But when you listen, when you meditate and listen for answers, and then, Shalima, we were asked, why do these things always happen to me? When you have something, that's negative or detrimental that you feel, and you go there. Why is this happening to me with two or three? And certainly, the repercussions of disobedience. And it's wonderful because it straightens you out. It certainly straightened me out, and it's not over. It's ongoing, and that's what I love about it's ongoing, because you never reach a plateau that you're there and that you're there. You finally reached. No. It's ever ending, never ending, and it's a good move.
It's part of growing. Right?
That's right. Got to grow, and which is what the union is about. Let's unify ourselves and grow towards something that is healthy, that is economic, that is beneficial for our families. And when we grow with those directives and focus in mind, then we can achieve. And in achieving our rightful, we need to step up to our rightful place.
Mm-hmm.
Our rightful place, and it's a developmental process.
Yeah.
And part of that process, one of the things in that process is right on our first page of this May newsletter, and it's called Trust. My question, when I first really delved into trust, was, do I trust myself? That right there, that relationship with yourself, excuse me, so dynamic and so important that you answer that question and be truthful. And if you don't trust yourself in certain areas, those are the areas to build your strength in. Those are the areas that we will work toward perfecting the self. Let me give you an example. Know that your best is good enough. This is number 4. Know that your best is good enough. Now that speaks to a number of things, Shanima, and audience. Because we've been taught to just do a little and get by. Just do a little bit and get by so that the teachers or your instructors or your people in authority can say, okay. But really that's not really the focus of development, right? Doing the best you can in every situation. Know that your best is good enough. And this follows from the 10th virtue that George James in his book Stolen Legacy really outlined, and it speaks to the virtue of the sense of values. And he states it in his book, and I quote, "The ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal." The ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal. And when you begin to analyze and meditate and even ask questions in those areas, then you'll realize that your best is actually good enough. If you're doing your best, it's actually good enough. So, check out our Umoja Caribbean newspaper for the May issue and the back issues, because they all have a wealth of information. And yes, make a donation. If you got something from the paper, if something sparked a feeling, a thought, an action inside of you, then give us a donation. We're trying to pull a union together for all of us. A Caribbean union for all of us that's needed.
Yes, so it's like, let your laboring not go in vain. So you reap what you have been putting out there, and it's time to receive the benefits as working men, working women,
Yes.
and working family, of course. So umoja is a Swahili word, by the way, means unity. So in our community, there must be unity.
Must be.
Must be, if we really want to strengthen areas of our liberty. And that's very important. I know Mario has his famous phrase, 1-1. We can fill up the basket as long as we do it together.
Together, yes.
So just that concept alone, when we come together and put our resources together, we can definitely fill up the areas that we need. As expressed economic-wise, if it's about real estate, we can acquire what we need as long as we put it together, pull our resources together.
That's right.
Yeah. We highlighted also in the newspaper Africa. So one of the featured locations or countries in Africa is Morocco. And then we also highlighted in the Caribbean, South America specifically, countries,
British Guyana.
Is it British?
Well,
it's French.
It's French,
Guyana.
French and British Guyana.
Okay.
They're in Guyana now, yeah.
Yeah. So you can read up on those two so that you can be familiarized with what's going around in those areas, those large continents. And there's so many things that, hey, you would be amazed of that. I'm learning. Every day is a learning experience.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
And in that learning, we're learning to work together, to cooperate more within your body and within people that have like mind. And that's who we're really speaking to. We're speaking to people that are like-minded, progressive, wanting to unify their energies economically, spiritually, for our families. I mean, that's what it's really about for me, for I. The families. The families are really the basis of a society, because you group the families together and that makes a community. And the community makes a society makes a nation makes part of nation states and part of the world. So certainly we in the Caribbean, have an opportunity to build our nation state, our sovereignty, and work with our ancestors and work with our counterparts in the mother-father continent of Africa, Kibuland, Temeri, the number of Nubia, the number of names that Ethiopia was one of the names for the whole continent at one time. Mm-hmm. So it's really a privilege, to be aware that we're moving in the right direction. Several generations ago, when matter of fact, I'm doing some research on my grandfather on my father's side, coming out of Mississippi, Mississippians, and it's really interesting that my grandfather's brother, right, was the first architect in Mississippi that that they honored just recently passed, and they honored him for being the first black melanated person architect in Mississippi. And interesting that, and my connection was that was my first major in college was architecture. You know, I building, that was really something that my family had been into for some generations, and I didn't really realize that until I started doing research on my family and my grandmother's side. So these things spill over generationally, and we're not just, everyone has a historical generational pattern that is encoded in our DNA and is distributed and expressed at the right time, you know. And so let us remember, and let us continue, right, in this progressive movement toward knowing the self, appreciating the self, and developing our economics. Because when we develop our economics, a lot of things fall in place. When you develop economics with a social perspective, right? Not a selfish perspective, but a social perspective. When you develop economics in a community, some people call it like African communalism. It's different than African socialism. The word communal and social, you know, check it out. It's African communalism. This is what Kwame Nkrumah really began to emphasize, and while he was the ruler of Ghana, and some of the books that he's written and some of the information and philosophy that he has gleaned from our ancestors and began to promote it and demonstrate it is one of the reasons why since the last 40 years. So we have a lot to move toward.
Yeah, so as you just mentioned about your grandfather and definitely the traits or the connection, you know, just creating this, building on this union, I would like to express that this is for the children to come. So when you see yourself as a parent or a grandparent or what have you, and you're thinking about your family, and you would, I guess, no, not I guess, I know that you want the best for them. So it's like being our ancestors laid the foundation for us. We are building on the foundation that they left, and the walls are up, but it's for the other generation to continue building what was left. So parents right now, I know for me, I feel very appreciative of this time that I'm being involved in an organization such as Umoja Caribbean Union in building this organization up, because it's for the generations to come. And saying that, I just want to wish a happy congratulations actually to our high school graduates, territorial wide, especially those who made it through this pandemic situation, and they had to finish their studies virtually. So I just want to give a big shout out and let you all know that you do have a purpose. Find your gift. If you haven't identified it yet, just know that you are needed right now. So please try and make the best, wisest decisions, and seek elders or wisdom, people with wisdom, if you need any guidance. Okay? So all the best to our recent high school graduates.
Yes. And even in Africa, I was looking at a program on YouTube and was talking about how there are more young people in Africa. What was the stat? I can pull it. In a certain kind of way. I don't want to state a stat that's not, yeah, it's incorrect. I don't exactly remember the exact number, but it was a very high number, a very high percentage of young people that are in African country that are predominantly youth. And so right now, as Shalima was talking about, as each graduate or each young person makes that step, that adult step forward, it's very, very important that we are encouraging them to be themselves, to uncover themselves and recognize that their first and secondary education was what it was, and that now this next portion in their life, I'm speaking about college grads and high school grads. This next portion in your life that's where the ancestors are looking out. If you just tap into your meditation, tap into your true self. What do you really, really, really need to do and want to do? Those two things, and that'll put you right on the path. Like Shalima said, listen, research. You have some very wise teachers out there, some people that you connected with, an elder connected with, or it doesn't have to be an elder, someone even your peer group. There are many young people that have great, good common sense.
Yes.
And so we know some, definitely. And so tap into yourself and be yourself. That's one of the areas that will help all the unity that will come into your life. Yes. And those of you that like to travel, continue that. Traveling is pure education. Pure. So keep that rolling. Right now, what's
And
our time?
stay healthy. I know you've given some tips. I don't think we really emphasize on some health tips per se, but just want to encourage ones to do their best in eating healthy, exercise. We kind of spoke about sweating and releasing toxins. We have to prepare our immune system for anything, and that may be coming down on us. Coming down. So you gotta prepare yourself. If this pandemic situation wasn't a waking moment for you, don't wait for something else to come down. Okay, get on target in being healthier, living healthier. That's key. Mm-hmm. Okay, to make through this situation.
That's true. Even if you just walk, exercise. That will, walking, breathing, drinking plenty of good water. Hey, you're on the right track. Yes. Should we move to
4:57 at 3 more minutes?
All right.
And we have games, yes.
Oh.
We have a game section in our newspaper, and it's so easy. Please, you can be the winner. Okay, just fill in the missing spaces. There are some hints that you could figure it out, and the first two who found the answers will win a prize. Send your answers to umojacaribbeanunion@gmail.com or text 1-857-240-2854. Am I saying it right? Yes, 2854. So get your copy of the newspaper, download it from our webpage, www.ucu.webs.com, or Facebook page, Umoja Caribbean Union Inc. Departments. Go to File and download your free copy, and go to the game section, which is right on the May calendar page.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah. So it's fun. It's an interactive
Yeah.
learning. Okay,
Right,
let's say
right.
that. So I
And if
hope
you have children, youth, it's excellent for them.
almost
Please do.
definitely. Yes. Let them figure it out.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. So it's 4:59.
So our newspaper is for the whole family, so share it with the whole family, download it, and some of the back issues, and we appreciate you tuning in, listening, and appreciate in the future how all of us, not all, but a great many of us will pull together and build what we need to build to extend ourselves into the future.
Yes. So thank you again for tuning in to our Saturday live talk show, and tune in next week from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time or Atlantic Standard Time here in the VI. Okay? Hope to see you log in, and thank you again for those who have logged in. And yeah,
Hotep.
blessings. Okay.
Bless.